The Washington Wizards get smoked like a black and mild, get blown out by the Chicago Bulls 138-105 in Chi-Town. Zach LaVine drops down 33 points, but JP did drop 22 points before leaving with an injury. What was worse, perimeter defense or transition defense? Let's talk about it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Wizards Daily Newsletter, a one-stop shop for the ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On Wizards newsletter. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy AB, and the Washington Wizards get blown out by the Chicago Bulls 138-105 in Chi-Town. Zach LaVine drops 33 points. JP13 did lead the way for the Wiz Kids with 22 points, but then he is still dealing with that nagging hip injury. So we're going to recap the Bulls game tonight. Ask the question, is JP13 an all-star? I think so. And Alex Sarr looks like he is now a front runner early on, but the front runner for Rookie of the Year. He has stiff competition, but he is definitely looking better. So let's talk about it, AB. Washington Wizards night, man. Whoa, got smoked like a black and mild, got smoked like a brisket. I mean, I'm gonna get your take, man. I mean, what was worse, the perimeter defense or transition?
I mean, both were equally bad. I just think it's hard, again, because we always emphasize every night the whole cultural thing, but really tonight, the guys just look like they just didn't put any effort out there. And again, it's a Bulls team where a few games below 500, but like, again, it's inexcusable to get blown out by 33 points at home. Like, what are we doing? Like, obviously, every night we try to be optimistic, but right, if we're looking out on the court and seeing that there's no defense, lack of closing out, the Bulls shot, I think, over like 50% from field goal range. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, how can we be optimistic? How can we say the rebounding will be better, transition defense will be better? It just doesn't make any sense. And again, it's just inexcusable. And then a lack of ball movement. You just add that all together. It's just not winning basketball. And as fans, like, I completely understand for those that are upset, because it's just you're at some point, there's a threshold where you just become impatient.
No, I agree, man. I agree 100%. And I'll say this, I've said it time and time again this last year and a half, when Will Dawkins came in as general manager and Michael Winger came in as president of basketball operations. And, the front office has done their job, in my opinion, finding personnel. But when you look at what is important in a rebuild early on, it's culture. And, we often talk about how, head coach Brian Keefe is instilling a culture of playing hard, playing to win. And you see that at times. But then when you look at games like this, it's like you don't see that culture at all. I mean, it was hard to watch. I mean, slow switching, switching off defenders, just slow. Getting out the shooters, just slow. They're slow getting back in transition. I mean, what was it? Jalen Smith got a wide open dunk, and he like smoked 5 defenders. They'd be the first guy down the court. It's like no care in the world. This is a hard watch, because it's one thing to lose. We get it, man. It's a rebuild. We're in year 2 of rebuild. And we know they're going to lose a lot more games they're going to win. But here's the thing, you want to see that culture of playing hard, playing to win. I mean, it's one thing to lose and when there's a clear talent gap. It's a totally other thing to lose and get blown out and there's no care. It's just there was no fire. There was no dog out there. I mean, nobody looked like they really wanted to win this game. And I guess maybe it's losing fatigue, but I mean, if you're fatigued at this point, how bad are you gonna get? Because you got a long way to go. I mean, we haven't even hit the midway point yet. We're at 35 games, so 41 games is your midway point. So I definitely think that Brian Keefe is a guy who's definitely digging in these guys, but you saw frustration on the sidelines. I mean, you saw several timeouts where he just said, "Look, enough's enough." But I'm with you. This was a tough one to watch because they had no fire at all, man. I mean, the Chicago Bulls did whatever they wanted to do. Let's take a look at the shooting stats real quick. The Chicago Bulls shot 55.8% from field goal range. I mean, 3-point percentage. They shot 46.9% as a team from 3-point range. Rebounding, out-rebounded us 62-48. Assists, 39 to our 26. Steals 11-6. I mean, we lost almost every category except for turnovers. Believe it, go figure, right? Points in the paint, 52-42. I mean, transition, 24 transitional points to our 11. Second chance points, 17. Points off turnovers, 26 off of our 16 turnovers. I mean, the list goes on. This was a complete loss in my eyes. I mean, the highlight of the game was JP, and with 22 points. And and you could tell that he's not 100% AB. I mean, at this point, I'm gonna ask you this question real quick. At this point, when do you set JP to get him 100%? Because we're not playing for anything, and I don't see a point of really playing him through injuries because his hip injury is not 100% healed. What do you think?
Definitely. I was watching that throughout the game. That's a good point you bring up because again, like JP, he's part of the timeline here in DC, and there's really no point in playing him if obviously if it's every night you're getting blown out. It's not really close. You don't want that injury to linger until like next year because that's just not a good sign for his future here. And we want him to be healthy. So again, I say don't let him, if he's not 100%, don't let him play. Let the younger guys take the reps. I mean, shout out to Jared Butler, man. 18, 6 and 4. I mean, again, a team where there's an identity crisis right now for a guy like Jared Butler. Again, kudos to the Capital City Go-Go, the whole development, him, Jordan Goodwin, an example, and Justin Champagnie. Again, even though tonight wasn't the best of nights, there was some bright spots.
No, there was definitely bright spots. I mean, again, looking at Poole, 22 points, 7 for 13 for the field, 6 for 9 from 3. So that 3-point shot was rocking, man. Sarr, 11 rebounds, 11 points. I mean, that's his best shooting, 4 for 14 tonight, 1 for 4 from 3. But rebounding numbers were encouraging. Keyshawn George, 4 for 8 from 3. So that was definitely encouraging to see him with that 3-point shot. Definitely getting back. He's not where we expect him to be because I like what I saw from Keyshawn George early in the season. So to me, the expectations is kind of up there because we know he can definitely ball. He has a lot of learning to do and a lot of improvement, but he's a guy who's shown he can definitely play. But Jared Butler, you hit the nail on the head. 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 for 11 for the field. I mean, Jared Butler continues to play high level basketball. He's a guy they need to keep around. Him and Justin Champagnie, keep them in Washington. You keep him here. Martin Baggs, he was a guy that I thought you keep him long term, but the injuries continue to be an issue. And that's the one knock against Marvin Bagley. If you take the injuries out of the equation, he's a guy who can produce. He's found his spot here in DC. Some other people look at Jonas Valanciunas, only 15 minutes tonight. To me, that's a little questionable. 6 points, 9 rebounds. He did what he could, but a very uneventful night. Champagnie 11 points in 11 minutes, and Johnny Davis 5 points in 6 minutes. So, whoo! So I mean, you saw glimpses, man, but this was a total team loss. I mean, we are bad in every area of defense. Transition, we are slow to get down in transition. We take our time, and teams catch us slipping. On the perimeter, even in mid-range, we're slow in switches. The switching off defenders, they take their time. And if you're facing a team that has fluid ball movement, they're going to catch you sleeping every time. And it happens every single time. Fluid ball movement kills this team. And I mean, look, they shot over 50% for the field. I mean, it's just, I don't understand, the Jekyll and Hyde mentality, man. I mean, culture is the only thing we're big on right now. I mean, look, we're year 2 in a rebuild. Yes, the biggest thing you're looking for, obviously, ain't wins and losses, but is looking at progression of young talent. And we know that, Bilal looked like he was breaking out in year 2, but then we all know, he's been very inconsistent this year, even though we've seen the potential, especially the work he's put in offensively. He's definitely a better offensive player, but still, he's shown that while he has potential and while he's made strides, he still has ways to go till he's that consistent threat offensively. Alex Sarr, he's getting better, but the same with him. Bob Carrington, he's a little more aggressive tonight, but efficiency with him, same thing, Keyshawn George. And you're going to see a lot more from these young guys after the trade deadline, AP. But right now, it's just you need to see consistency overall as a team.
And again, you got sorry to cut you off, but you got OKC on Sunday. Like, it's not getting easier. We're not at the midpoint at the midpoint of the season. So it's like at some point you got to realize, like, yeah, fatigue is, but you still got some ball to play. And yeah, it all goes back to effort. You lose by talent, okay. If you lose, at least lose in not an embarrassing fashion. Because again, that product out there, like, how do you expect fans out there to come out night out, root for our team in DC when it clearly looks like that they're not trying to go out there and put their best effort?
No, man, look, if we're boxing, man, I'm taking that TKO. I'm not trying to be that guy that is flying through the ropes, man. Like tonight, we ended up outside of the ring, man. We got knocked out cold. I mean, Zach LaVine was able to do whatever he wanted to do. He dictated the pace. I mean, you can argue for both teams. I mean, you saw glimpses. Jared Butler, to me, is a keeper. He's a baller. He's a dog. He produces. He's played good basketball. I was Champagne the same. You saw glimpses, but that's all we're seeing right now is glimpses. And I get it. It's year 2 of a rebuild. I'm a guy who's, look, I'm patient. I wanted to rebuild. I'm willing to wait. But you had to see some progression as far as the talent. And, well, not talent, but as far as fight. The culture of playing hard, playing to win. Chicago ain't all that. Like, you go against OKC. If you're going to catch a 30 piece by the Bulls, man, OKC is the best team in the Western Conference. I mean, it's going to be, and that's what I'm saying. There's going to be a talent gap with OKC, but you want to see them play hard, man. If you're going to lose playing hard. I'd rather them fight hard from tip off to the end and lose by 4 than to get cold, blown out, and nobody shows any kind of fight. Because it's just, you can't really put it on one person. Can't blame the vets. Can't blame JP or Kuzma. I mean, and you can't exclusively blame the young guys. It was a total team loss. They lost as a team. So, hopefully they pick it up, man, because like I said, it's got a long road ahead of us, man. Not only the rest of this year, but next year is another rebuilding year. You're not going to see any kind of real progression till year 4. And it is what it is. But to me, if you're going to lose with grace, man. Lose fighting. Go down in the fight, man. You don't. I mean, they get blown up by a team like Chicago. Chicago's not all that, in my opinion. So definitely want to see them get back to, a team that really wants to try to win games, man. Even though we know most nights there's going to be a talent gap, but at least fight. That's culture. Fighting hard, playing to win, playing hard. We need to get back to that, man, on a consistent level. So we're going to ask some questions before, going forward, man. JP13. We know team performance is going to be a hindrance, but is he an all-star? And look at Alex Sarr. He is a front runner right now as Rookie of the Year. Can he maintain that? And what players can be in his way in the Rookie of the Year award race? But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. For big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. Visit the website, and if you don't take my word for it, definitely visit the website and see for yourself. Because, look, I'm an over and under guy. Parlays, I kind of rock with a little bit, but a live bets is definitely something I love with FanDuel. So take advantage of it because they got a lot of deals, a lot of promotions. But again, don't take my word for it. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. All right, let's get back into this thing. Jordan Poole. We are getting closer to not only the trade deadline, but to the All-Star break. He is currently 8th in the backcourt voting for the fan vote. So, AB, real quick, in your eyes, we know that, in the realm of the NBA, team performance are hindrances to players getting a playoff berth. I think that they need to kind of resort to what Major League Baseball is doing. Let a team representative go to the All-Star game. Let it be an All-Star for each team. But in your eyes right now, is Jordan Poole an All-Star?
Definitely. I think especially as Wizards fans, the improvement that we've seen from year 1 of Jordan Poole to now, I mean, again, how can you not? 9 in and out, this guy comes in, delivers. He worked his butt off this offseason. You mentioned it a lot, where limiting the turnovers, defensively, being a dog, being a leader, a young guy who, again, we mention all the time, hasn't even hit his prime yet. And again, fits the timeline here in DC, and at 20 points. And again, the heat checks, it can be questionable, but he makes it. Like, what can you say to that? I definitely think he deserves one. Will he get one? It sucks because, again, when you're not on a winning team, it's like people will say those are empty stats. But if we really look at it, I mean, come on, man. The mass improvement. There's no way you can even question that he's not an All-Star.
Oh, absolutely. He's a guy who's definitely getting some attention around the league this year, especially on the trademark. Because little birdies are telling me that he's indeed, a guy who's getting some interest around the league. So, like I said, he is definitely an All-Star in my opinion. He's played at All-Star level, and he's put the work in his offseason. He's taken these young guys under his wing, and he's really stepped up not only as far as production on the court, but as a leader in the locker room. But like I said, when you play at All-Star level, you're going to get All-Star attention, especially from other teams. So, like I said, I would not be surprised if he's a guy that other teams are going to be looking at the deadline. And I would not be surprised if he may be being shot because I've always called him a gray area player, because he's a guy who I would love him to be here long term. I think he'd definitely be the guy, at least for the next 2 to 3 years, till contracts become, they got to be kind of crafty with what they go forward with the contract, especially with Bilal's contract extension coming up in 2 to 3 years. But you can also look at it from the view of, look, he's got some value. I would love him to be here long term. I think he's really shown that he's embraced the city. He's embraced what they're trying to do here. He's bought into what the Wizards are trying to do. But I say it all the time. The better you play, the more interest you're going to get. So definitely, look, he's going to get interest. But he's definitely an all-star. Now, will he get it? He's 8th right now. He's ahead of Garland. Even though with the performance of Cleveland, some people are saying Garland was going to probably get it over him, which I don't agree. If you're going to vote, then go by the votes. If you're going to go ahead and give a guy an all-star, then what's the point of vote? I mean, it's no point of voting. But to me, be like, we need to take the model of Major League Baseball. Send a representative for every team. I mean, stop this whole fan vote. It's a popularity contest. Let's call it what it is, man. I mean, somehow Zion might be an all-star, and the guy has been like he's been at home half the year. I mean, but it is what it is. I mean, you always have these questionable guys not making the team, and there's always these guys where it's like, how did he earn an all-star? It's a popularity contest, and it's what it is, and it adds to the issues that the NBA has, which is the all-star game's not even meaningful anymore. They're not even playing hard anymore. They're basically just shooting logo threes and letting their buddies dunk in the lane and laughing and joking and popping bubbles with each other. I mean, it's not even competitive anymore. I mean, we need, if we're trying to emulate other leagues, looking at soccer when it comes to an in-season tournament, then look at other leagues that are doing things that are successful. With baseball, the All-Star game, they're playing for home field advantage in the playoffs. Make it meaningful. You're looking at a league where 52% of viewership is down. There's a reason for that, because it turns into a celebrity fest. I mean, all the celebrities are there, and everybody's having fun. And it's not meaningful basketball anymore. I hate to be the old head here, but it's like, Jordan, look, I forget the All-Star games where you saw Jordan, Bird, Magic. I mean, even Shaq was putting in work. I mean, Kobe, they played hard. They tried to win the game. You remember that year that Shaq dunked on David Robinson in the All-Star game? I mean, he was trying to put in some work. Now it's like, go ahead, bud, come through the lane and dunk at will. It's just, let's stop. Make it to where everybody has a representative, and make the All-Star game competitive again, because all it ends up being TMZ sports, and everybody's just having fun. So he's an all-star. In my humble opinion, he's an all-star, but we know what it is. But I think it definitely needs to change, in my humble opinion. Alex Sarr, what are you thinking, man? I mean, right now he's a front runner over guys like Zach Edey, and he has definitely gotten better. Do you think that he can maintain his pace as the front runner of the Rookie of the Year? And what other guys do you see can kind of be in his way?
I just saw the news that Jerry McCain will be out for the year, so that sucks. But he was at one point. He's a baller, man. His future in Philly it's something. But Alex, again, like, we've seen the improvement, and that's what we wanted to see here in DC. Early on in the season, it was lack of aggressiveness and being inconsistent. Now, being consistent every night, even a night where the Wizards, you get blown up by 30, it is what it is. But Alex Sarr still being a bright spot. You mentioned Zach Edey, yeah, that'll be some of his competition. But again, with his pace and the way he's going, especially if they might trade JV to a different team, that puts up his usage. So I could definitely see a scenario where he wins Rookie of the Year without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely, because he's going to get a lot more responsibility in the second half of the year, because, again, the better you play, the more responsibility you get. So I'm with you. I think that he's definitely going to be in the conversation. Zach Edey, he's been putting in good minutes on a playoff team with the Memphis Grizzlies. That's going to be one factor that's going to kind of edge him, because the NBA is looking at overall team performance. And that's another thing that I don't get, is that there's certain factors in the NBA where you judge a player. It's like the whole GOAT talk, right? I mean, if we're really basing the GOAT on championships, look, MJ to me is the GOAT. But if you're really based on championships, then why isn't Robert Horry in the conversation? I mean, what are we talking about? Like, you can't judge the best player on team accolades. Championships is what a team accomplishes. It's not an individual thing. When I'm really judging the GOAT, I'm looking at how many MVPs does he have, and how many defensive player of the awards, how many All-Star and stuff like that. And when it comes to All-Star and other things, I don't understand why team performance has anything to do with it. Jordan Poole has clearly been a guy who's elevated his team. Now we're 6-30, and ain't elevate too much, but he's been the bright spot. He's a guy who's played at an All-Star level. So give him his flowers. I mean, and it goes for any guys. Look, to me, James Harden, what he's done in LA with Kawhi being out, an All-Star, because he's picked up the slack. Now, so and that's kind of a bad comparison, because we know this name alone, James Harden's going to get an All-Star game. But we have to start, if they're serious about really showing a lot more homage to small market teams, even though we're not a small market team, or the small market that is, then allow small market teams to have their piece of the pie. Stop making it a popularity contest. bringing what kind of storyline do you think it would be, man? If Jordan Poole, after the year he had last year, makes it to an All-Star game this year. What do you think that does for a team like Washington, was trying to attract free agents? What do you think it does for a guy like Jordan Poole, where last year he was getting clowned? He was Shaq to the fool. That a guy 1 year later goes to an All-Star game, that boosts his value. It's a win-win. I don't understand that, the whole celebrity love fest with the NBA, man. And that's why people are zoning out. That's why people aren't watching anymore, because it turns into TMZ sports. I'm not watching the Raptors to see Drake. No disrespect, but Drake need to sit his butt down. Like I'm there to watch the Raptors. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that, and I get that the NBA has always had that connection to music and fashion, and that's beautiful. And that was, at one point, their connection to music, their connection to fashion was what made the NBA, that much better than other leagues, in my opinion, because of that connection to fashion. And you're seeing it with the NFL. Now, NFL's picking up that, getting the music, getting the fashion. But at what point, AB, does it become a detriment? At what point does it stop being a basketball league and starts becoming a celebrity softball game?
Yeah, no, I just Taylor Swift just popped in my brain. I think the NFL. I think the NFL learned their lesson, because honestly, I didn't think it was at first. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But then when people started tracking how many times they showed her instead of the actual players or coaches, that's when I was like, yo, this is low-key too much. So I agree. Drake, I want to see NBA players play. Drake, whatever, music, that's his thing. But at the end of the day, we want to see basketball players play. We don't care about the other stuff, and it's just so much outside noise, which again, it all goes back to the 52% down of viewership. If you're the NBA, you're Adam Silver, you got to figure something out before it's too late.
Look, he's got to figure it out, man, because hockey, their viewership's going up. I mean, baseball, they've made changes to where their viewership has gone up. I mean, football, you can argue is
every year the NFL, they just find a way to top it, and it's whether it's a new holiday game or whether it's this rule or that rule, it's no matter what they do, it just somehow every day you see a notification about viewership increase from this to this, and it's just if you're the NBA, you have to somewhat look at them and be like, what model are they using?
Look, that's business 101, man. You modernize or you die. That is the business model. I mean, that's business 101. You modernize. You keep with the times. You do not become stagnant, and they become stagnant. And hopefully they can figure this thing out, because look, basketball is a beautiful thing. The NBA is a beautiful product, but I think they become a little complacent and a little too comfortable. So we're gonna get into comments, and we're gonna start this Friday night off right, man. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Skims. When I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. Lord, I heard so much about their quality from friends and family, so I had to give them a try. Let me tell you, it lives up to the hype. Whew. I always had issues with underwear, fit, comfort, or just finding the right style for me. Skims changed all that. The men's line offers something for everyone, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. I like Skims, man. Like, I'm a bigger guy, so to me, I need I need underwear that's going to allow me to breathe, man. Underwear that's multi-use, be able to work out, be able to go out on a date, just run around the house. I need something that's multi-dimensional, like Black or Bali, right? So look, if you want to get a valuable piece of underwear that is going to fit your style and fit your lifestyle, definitely holler at Skims, man. Shop Skims men's at skims.com/LockedOnNBA and Skims stores. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. So like I said, guys, I can't recommend enough Skims. So definitely check it out. Because they're very, very comfortable underwear. So again, definitely check them out at skims.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, let's get back into the same, man. So let's get into the comments. And I'm willing to bet Locked On Law is number one. Let's check it out. Yes, sir. So my guy Locked On Law, we're gonna start it off right. Definitely appreciate y'all taking time out of your night to rock with your boys on a Friday night. And Locked On Law says, no offense, no defense. This is getting tiresome. It was a tiresome night, let me tell you. And Valor says, I try to stay positive, but man, is this team infuriating to watch? Yes, it is. It's Jekyll and Hyde. Oh, Jekyll and Hyde. Oh, I'm gonna create a whole new characters here, man. Jekyll and Hyde, man. You don't know what to expect. One game they look like they fight to the end. One game they may win. Another game they get smoked like a turkey on Thanksgiving. Good Lord. Edian says, no rhythm, nothing besides Jordan Poole. Everybody is inconsistent. Yeah, I mean, two things I saw tonight. The whole team was inconsistent, and they probably need to sit Jordan Poole down, man. He's not 100%. And we're not playing for anything. We're playing for that number one pick anyways. Sit him down, let him get 100%. I do not want to see him, get a long-term injury over pretty much, we're not doing anything, AB. I mean, sit him down, let him get 100%. Not only for, it helps us and it helps him. I mean, there's no reason to really risk a long-term injury for, we're not winning anything. Nomadic Brian says, yikes. Yeah. Giovanni Santana, how you doing tonight? Says Kuzma missing easy layups. Yeah, I mean, he's aggressive, but yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna just harp on Kuz. I'm not gonna harp on just one person, man. I mean, this was just a frustrating game overall. AB. I mean, Kuz had his moments. I mean, everybody had the moments where it's just like, Lord have mercy. I mean, anti-social extrovert says, happy Friday. Absolutely. Happy Friday to you as well. Hope all is well. Selling for threes had to stop. Oh, my Lord. Butler, Poole, let it fly. Everyone else, please run the offense. I'm a fan, but it's becoming hard to watch. Yes, it is, because, AB, we say it all the time, man. There's 4 guys on the perimeter and 1 guy in the paint. Nobody moves without the basketball. It's just everybody standing around. It seems like no plays are being run. It's just the classic pick and roll at the top. I mean, it's stagnant. It's just, if you're a team that wants to game plan against the Wizards, you don't have to do much, man. I mean, they already defeated themselves. I mean, AB, I mean, how frustrating is that? I mean, what's the problem, man? I mean, the lack of ball movement is frustrating. I mean, what's the problem, man?
No, definitely. I mean, you talked about it. Like, again, like, we want to see improvement as fans, but when there's really no effort of making any type of improvement, whether it's no defense, not closing out, and just lack of just ball movement in general, you can't really expect to win games, and you can't really say that there's been an improvement where you see just 4 guys watching the ball, and just 1 guy trying to get it to work. Like, it's just, again, and we don't have any superstars on this team for us to be even that comfortable enough to do. So it's just a very conflicting situation that I'm hoping that Coach Keefe is harping to the players. But again, if we're seeing it night in, night out, is it really a message sent there?
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. I mean, it's just, we've got to do some offense. I mean, it's just, we're struggling overall as a team. Offensively, we don't move without the ball. It's just stagnant. Defensively, no effort. I mean, Jalen Smith should not be beating 5 guys down the court. I'm just saying. I mean, it's just, transition defense is non-existent. Lachlan Law, man, very eloquent tonight, says brisket is good. If they got smoked like a brisket, I'd probably at least enjoy the taste once in a while. Hey, amen. I love me some brisket as well. He also said they got burned like a stack of old tires. Can't argue with that. My guy, man, DC Onion, how you doing tonight, brother? How many 30-point and butt whooping is enough? Brian Keefe offense is throwing up emoji. You kind of see where that's going. Brian Keefe is not the coach. Like I said, I think it's too early, man. I do think it's too early because it's just this is our situation for a coach. I mean, it's our situation, to showcase these vets and still try to find minutes for these young guys is just. I'm gonna give them to next year. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not ready to judge the front office at least for next 3. I mean, until you get into year 4 or 5 and start to see, a lot of these draft picks are going. But I'm not ready to judge the front office. I think the front office has done well. Have they made their mistakes? Absolutely. I mean, but overall, they've done a good job. I mean, Brian Keefe, see moments, and don't forget, he's a first-time head coach too, so he's still kind of learning. He's been in a long-time assistant, and I'm not making excuses. I mean, you're the guy now. You still got to do your thing, but it's a tough situation because they're not built to win. They're not built to win, and if he wants to implement a defensive system, how many guys are consistent defenders day in and day out? I mean, Bilal's consistent, but there's times where he's had a game or 2 where he's off. But even though he's our top defender by far, Alex Sarr in the perimeter or in the paint, excuse me, but he doesn't have enough defensive pieces to really implement a defensive system yet. So I'm definitely looking for General Manager Will Dawkins to add a few more pieces, man, that are defensive minded guys who can stretch the floor to fit that modern NBA model, man, where you shoot the 3-point shot in your defenders. So DC Onion, my guy, says these dudes be missing way too many shots for NBA team. Every team we play shoots like GCW. Yeah, man, I'm with you on that. And he also says Cam Whitmore is better than all our young guys. Yeah, but I see Houston very hesitant to move on from Cam Whitmore. I don't see them moving Cam Whitmore or Bree Shepard. I mean, I think depth is definitely an issue they have, but it's not an issue that they're trying to move on from. I think that Cam Whitmore and Reed Shepard are definitely part of the future. But I feel you, man. Cam is looking pretty good. Dan Tico 84 says Sarr's looking better once he starts to develop post moves and ball security and control. we'll start seeing Sarr. We all want it. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Sarr is definitely going to be all right, man. Give him some time to develop. He's going to be all right. Gideon says hashtag vote Jordan Poole as an NBA All-Star. Yeah, get out there and vote, guys. Like I said, was trying to get JP in there. He's earned it. He put the work in. Like you said, he's earned it. And I definitely want to.
I'm telling you, sorry, it's a little off topic, but I don't know if you saw the whole LiAngelo Ball song thing, how it's trending. If I see some votes for LiAngelo Ball, like I'm gonna lose my mind, man. Like JP better just put it in there, man. Because again, like just the whole popularity thing. At some point, like you just gotta say, like, yo, like what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, my guy DC Onion does not agree with the All-Star sentiment. He says, "B, stop. JP ain't no All-Star. Let's be real. Jordan Poole better, but All-Star. Please stop the homer bull." I mean, I respect your take, man. That, you're my homeboy, man. I respect the take. I do see where you're coming from, DC Onion, but I'll say this, man. I mean, if LaMelo Ball's in the conversation, then Jordan Poole should be in the conversation. I mean, that's my thing because LaMelo Ball just is like a black hole with the ball in Charlotte, man. I mean, sooner or later, at what point did they stick with him, man, is a long-term piece to build around. So I feel you, man. You're not quite ready to call him that. I get it, man. But I think he's played at all-star level. I think the team performance is definitely not. It would be one factor why he doesn't get in. Dan TK84, he says we should keep Poole long-term. Can we say extension? Okay. And hope allow offensive games development into a similar game as Kawhi or Mikal Bridges. Oh, I like the comparison. In my opinion, but a way better defender. No Jimmy Butler. Lord have mercy. I agree. Now extension. Here's the thing that really conflicts that. And then when I say give him the keys the next 2 to 3 years, because in year 3, after 3 years, what comes up? Bilal Coulibaly's extension. So the organization had to make a really hard decision, which is either A, you move on from Poole and you sign Bilal to an extension, or you sign both of them. Now, if JP13 steps it up to, he's already playing at all-star level. If he steps it up, and they could pay him, and they could pay Bilal. I mean, who knows? I mean, like I said, the next 2 to 3 years you don't really have a clear picture because it's still a lot of dominoes need to fall and a lot of moves need to be made. And who clearly is, because like I said, the little birdies are saying that Jordan Poole is tradable right now. Like I said, but then you look at his production, you look at the fact that he's really bought into what they're doing. You can see him as a long-term piece too. So I think the biggest thing is this: we find ourselves in a good position. We have choices. We haven't always had choices, AB. So we have choices. I think that's the biggest thing to look at. Let's see. Dan TQ84 also says he's proven he's definitely in the talks from his peers and coaches. He's put up all-star numbers. Absolutely. I agree 100%. DC Onion says Spurs, Stephon Castle, fire. Yeah, I like Castle. And so does Dan TQ84. He says Castle is a baller. So I definitely agree with that. DC Onion says not a small market. Yeah, it's not a small market. We're actually one of the biggest markets, not the biggest market outside of New York and LA in the country. If you look at the DMV, not only of DC, Maryland, Virginia, but Delaware. Sizable amount of people live in Delaware that work in DC, West Virginia. I mean, list goes on. There's this is a big market, man. So I think that when you say small market, when it pertains to the Wizards, that they've operated as a small market franchise for so long, just for their mentality and how they work. And I think that's subject to change. But this is definitely not a small market. Let's see. Dan TK84 says we can build around Poole, Sarr, and Bilal, add Flag or Harper. We can start sparking, get some key role players, and somehow get the dog mentality. I agree. I think that some of those role players are already on the team, AB. Justin Champagny, Jared Butler, Martin Bagley III. I think we already got it, man. Locked on Law says the draft lottery sucks. They need to change it. Yeah, right to the point. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think they need to get away with it, man. Atlanta had no business having the number 1 pick last year. All right, guys, we are approaching 30. I'm trying to knock out a couple more comments. Let's see. Greg Lancaster, how you doing tonight? Says, hello, everyone. I am a Wizards fan, season ticket holder for life. They had draft. Can they get Jimmy Butler? I wouldn't think he'd be a realistic option at this point because Jimmy's going to want to go to a contending team, and the assets it would take to get him, I think, would set us back. And we're not a team that's built for a playoff run or even a championship run. I mean, I believe that Jimmy Butler said he wants Phoenix. I mean, he's narrowed it down to Phoenix. So, and then Bradley Bills, they benched him last game. So, and he's saying that he holds all the cards. So they're headed towards a nasty divorce.
Shout out to Greg though for being a season ticket holder, especially in a season like this. That is loyalty with a capital L.
Oh man, look, shout out to Greg Lancaster. I just had an interview today with Stephen Powers. He's another long time Wizards season holder. Look, shout out, man. They've been through the good, the bad, and the ugly. So look, definitely shout out to him, man. This is gonna be the last one tonight, guys. T Genius, what's up? Says, what is the future for Bob Carrington and Jared Butler? If we add Butler in a draft, I'd personally go for Bailey, then Cooper, if we get the chance. I like your take. Looking at a fit. I mean, Dylan Harper at the 1, I can see him more of a 2 guard. In my opinion, with his size, I think he can slide next to Bub in a future backcourt if they indeed decide to move him to Jordan Poole. But even then, I think he fits. Ace Bailey, you can slide Bilal to the 2. Ace Bailey can fit at the 3. And then the Cooper Flag, to me, he's a 4. So who really fits the best? I think in if you're going to rank the best fitting, it goes Flag, Harper, and then Bailey as far as how they would fit. Now, if you go best player available, especially if we don't get the number 1, you definitely go for the best guy and then see where you can slide. Because here's the thing: versatility is the name of the game. Bilal's versatile; you can go to the 2. So we have some versatile guys for the future, man. Dan T got me. It's gonna be the last one. Dan T 84 says Bailey is an ISO player. We need to have more of a team type guy. Absolutely, I agree 100%. So, all right, man. Before we roll, you got anything else you want to cover real quick, AB?
Yeah, man. I know hard to lose by 30 and have any optimism, but you got OKC. I really want to see how this team bounces back. You lose to a team by a lot and a team that's not that good. So I do wonder, will that same effort carry on to Sunday against the team that's the number 1 in the Western Conference, or will the team actually have some dog in them and actually put up a fight? Because again, what we want again, is lose games. I mean, that's what it is, a talent gap. We always emphasize that, but not losing in embarrassing fashion, because there's a difference between losing and losing in embarrassing fashion, and that's what we just don't want to see. We want to see a sense of improvement.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, if they don't come out with some fire, man, they stand and get mollywopped by the Thunder, man. It ain't gonna be pretty. So, I mean, all we're asking for is that culture. Getting back to that culture, man. Playing hard, playing to win. So, all right, guys, real quick, looking forward. Sunday is going to be a hard game because the NFL playoffs for the Washington Commanders is at 8:30. So, I'm gonna put a poll out there. You guys, let me know what you want to do, because I mean, we could do a recap on Sunday, but it's going to conflict with the first quarter, or really the first half of the Commanders game. So it could be something to change, but I would definitely let everybody know what we do on Sunday if we move it to Monday, because we're also got a game on Monday. It's a back-to-back. We are home on Sunday against the Thunder, and then we're home on Monday versus the Timberwolves. So last year, I know that, we used to double up and kind of recap a couple games in a row. So we might go that route because, like I said, I think more people can be watching the Commanders game than the Wizards game. It is what it is. And also looking at next week, Tuesday, we will be dropping the Stephen Powers episode. I didn't drop it today because obviously we had a game tonight. So look for that interview. Stephen Powers, longtime Wizards fan, Bullets fan, season ticket holder. So definitely looking for, and Wizards insider. So definitely looking forward to his interview. I'm going to drop it on Tuesday at 7:00. So, and like I said, guys, we're going to be talking about the trade deadline a lot this week coming up. We got Phoenix on Thursday. I will be covering the game on Thursday. I will be there to cover the team. So I will be in the house for the Phoenix Suns and Wizards game. So I'm thinking I might go ahead and go live after the game. And then, so definitely you'll see me live from Capital One on Thursday. But Wednesday, we're going to go deep into the trade deadline, me and AB. So again, guys, it is Friday night. So please, if you're going to drink and smoke, do it responsibly. Do it at home. Do not drink and smoke and drive, please. So, all right, everybody, I'll let you guys know about Sunday. But for right now, I will see everybody on Sunday. But everybody have a blessed weekend. Stay safe. Hails to the Wizards, and peace.